Incels. Who are they? What do they want? If you Google the word incel, you will read that the incel is the member of online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active. All definitions that you can find about incels depict them as some kind of a devil incarnate. Meanwhile, guys are now hopping on steroids in high school. They doing the bone smashing, they breaking their legs to be couple inches taller, which is ridiculous, and this is only for some crumbs of female validation. Some of them even try to shapeshift to a different race, which is, Indian thing, but it is somehow, I don't know, I can find that image, but there is, you know what I'm talking about. And they not some kind of a, vile basement world things. Of course there are some of them, especially right now when there is this epidemic of loneliness in men and women also, but we are now here, we have a problem. People don't want to date each other. I don't know why. I have many stories that I can just, describe from my own experience and experience from my friends, and it's rampant, even in Poland. You can say, well, conservative countries are more like normal. I've seen Americans talking about how conservative Europe is better to find people, but I don't know. The problem is right now that people think they are unable to find someone. Maybe because of their looks, maybe because they think they can never have someone because they are just 5 out of 10 and someone told them that they need to be at least 7, which is not true because when you go out you can see hot people dating hot people, mates dating mates, and below mates dating below mates. But there is this increase in every single attractive group of people that just don't date. It's not only reserved for the unattractive people. The attractive people don't engage for some reason, So there is not this idea that hot people are, making babies and everything, and ugly people don't. No, it's like all across the board. And in case of men, they are stop caring because they realize that they need 110% just to get some results. And there's this clear imbalance in what men are expected to do compared to women. If you are a guy and after school or work you don't do anything, your default untrained body is not how the standards of beauty for men are. You will be weak, you will be thin, you will be narrow, and this is not what this male physique is expected. Even if you go with different kind of aesthetic, you still need to be trained. Meanwhile, a woman only needs to not eat as much and have some basic hygiene. Unless she's ugly, then it's a wrap, which is also the problem. And I don't like this black pill talking point that every woman can have every guy, which is bizarre. And I can prove you something later on. And that's a good point to pivot and talk about femcels. And I know, there will be a hot take, but I believe that femcels exist. I know. You can unsubscribe, but bear with me. You probably seen this, but there are many LARPers. So there's like a woman that had boyfriends and now she's bitter and she's not having a boyfriend and she don't like guys and she calls herself a femcel. There's also this femcel core aesthetic that many guys find attractive and they already assume that this woman should be with someone. It is what it is, but the aesthetic is, well, it's nice aesthetic, I can tell you. But no, seriously. But we are talking about the real ones, the 30-year-old kissless ones. The problem is that when people think about the femcels, they picture someone bland, semi-attractive who's just unpopular. So the usual depiction from movie dramas where they hire attractive actress to play a mid. You've probably seen that. It's also the Hollywood thing that you only hire attractive people, it's infuriating because they hire attractive people and then need to tell you that she's unattractive, which is bizarre. But in reality, femcels don't look like this. Femcels look like this. Some of them, of course. Those who have problem with looks. But there are also other groups. And you can probably see when you scour the internet and you read the femcel post that the common thing that unites the femcels is some kind of a mental blockade. I would say it's either a form of autism or Asperger's, which if you think about it, incels also have this. Most incels have problem with masculinity, and living up to the expectation of what men should be. And if you understand what autism is, then you will know that these people have problem with engaging in social life. And when it comes to women, and if you are withdrawn from socializing, then you don't even have the opportunities for someone to engage with you. Because, since dawn of time, men were always the main initiators. Initiators for dates, initiators for activities. But if you are a woman and no one wants to talk to you, it's over. And by the way, there's this search of dommy mommy fandom bullshit that's popular with guys. I don't know why, but well, it's very upsetting. I'll be honest, it's very upsetting. It was funny at the beginning, but now it's not fun. It's not memes. It's not jokes. I know that you maybe different. I know that maybe you as a guy don't had the results while approaching women, and now you hope that chicks will be the main initiators of relationship with you. But this is not the road that you should go. You should not pass this road because it's dumb. I seen this meme, which is also, I don't know, this, how it's called, gorilla woman. It's like Amazonian bullshit. We need to do better. We need to be better men. We need to engage with women, incels. You need to engage with femcels in the good manners, not the bad ones. But then again, unfortunately for femcels is that men care about the appearances. And men put women in two categories. Women and NPCs. Yeah, I hate to say it, but this is how guys think. If you are a man and you see a woman who you find even remotely attractive, you treat her differently. If you don't find her attractive, she becomes a background noise, like a NPC. You don't even check if she has a dialogue options. You just ignore her. For you, she would be like a fat guy that just pass you by. You don't care, you don't even look. And in some cases, these women, after not having the male validation, some of them are thinking about having multiple surgeries. This femcel to bimbo phenomenon that I already do the video on the main channel, by the way. And we're not talking about minor corrections, but the massive modifications. They basically hate their own bodies so much. They believe their bodies are the sole reason for all the problems. And in trying to find acceptance among men, they are turning themselves into basically a sex doll. Some of them become offenders because they either witness or get exposed to some weird stuff online. And from that point on, they believe all men are into these things. And they just stop dating at all. Imagine the most horrifying stuff that you seen on some adult website, and they think that all guys want that, and that's why they have like a giant X on guys. And some of you might ask, if incels and femcels can find anyone, why do they just date each other? Sounds like win-win, right? Wrong. Some of them, yes, which, the cycle will continue. This is DNA, I'll be honest. But the vast majority don't want to date each other. And that brings us to the real question. Why? Why do they don't just date each other? If they so lonely, just date each other. It's that simple. But the problem is that everyone wants to be with attractive people. We grow up with all those movies where a bunch of young, attractive people just bump to each other and they fall in love. And there's this deep feeling of unfairness, knowing that some people are just born more attractive than we are. And because of that, they get acceptance, they get friends, they find love more easier than us. Because people always assume that what's beautiful is good and healthy, and what's ugly is either bad or sick. And people who get pushed aside because of their looks end up spending times elsewhere, usually online. And the internet doesn't help, because you will be constantly bombarded with above average looking people. And let's be honest, most of today influencers, they just made careers of their looks. They do the same thing that you can do while looking better. Then they get the money and fame, so now they can afford things you cannot afford while looking better than you do. And if you spend more and more time looking at attractive people, over time your baseline for attractiveness will go up, and it becomes harder and harder to give someone on your level a chance. That's why you often see incels and femcels being the first one to point out someone's imperfections. Well, let's be honest, they are not exactly the lookers themselves. And also where the people fall into a vicious cycle. They become impatient And because in some situations they feel like they're running out of time because you're like older, and there's expectation that you should find someone, so you rush things. And when you rush things, this is not how relationship is created, because human relations are not a race. If you imagine relationship like a staircase where each step is a shared experience. The first step would be you see someone for the first time, then you introduce yourself, then maybe after talking there's a first touch, and eventually, if it goes well, then at the end there will be form of intimacy. And this is why some guys mess up, because they think if they just skip all the steps, it's as if they magically completed all the other steps too. And that's why most lonely guys focus on the physical aspect of relationship. But life is not a video game. Beating hard mode doesn't give you achievement for beating the game on easy or normal. And you can see this mindset when they unfortunately turn into other ventures. I don't know if you got lost on the internet or you'll be curious enough to check, but I was. That there are so many dark corners on the internet, and those images will stay with you forever. And some guys who go very deep, they go deep, I can assure you, into stuff like
thermoplastic elastomers.
And in future robo-waifus, they eventually realize that this is not what they're looking for, that what they're missing is not just sex with someone resembling a woman, but the lack of female presence in their life, lack of someone that care about them. That's why you have, if you're lost on the internet, you will see the guys put the most unappealing clothes of those toys, and they just put them into the couch and they just sit. And they watch TV. It's almost like from the movie with the Ryan Gosling one. It's true. It's happened. I know I'm laughing right now, but it's tragic. It's surreal. It's surreal. And I believe in that case that femcels would have easier time, because all media made for women, books, movies, games, TV shows, focus on the emotional journey, building connection, and where the climax is on the end. It's not the beginning. It's not some wild stuff. Just natural progression in relationship. So even if the femcel has mental block for dating someone they don't find attractive, after a while, when they become lonelier and lonelier and lonelier, the desire of connection can somehow override it. This basic thought that they want hot people, at least more often than in the male case. That's why there are less of them. There were less of them overall, but now they can stop become femcels, because those who technically choose to be femcels can untrain their brains. Unless no one ever approached them, then they will just wait, and as we know...
Like that's ever gonna happen.
So the big question is, who would win at the long run? Femcels or incels? If you have like a battle between them, picture two sides, and they're just rushing, and there are units like level 1. Hey, I don't have a girl and I'm sad. What should I do, guys? Any help? Up to level 10. Fuck them. They vote for it. That would be unfair to the femcels, because there are, the stats, there are way more incels, so it would be a steamroll. I imagine femcels trying to fight, then realize some of her friend just broke the formation because some guy just happened to message them, and they say, I guess I'm gonna go with this guy, and then just bounce. Then another one stands there hoping someone will approach her, but no one does. So my verdict would be 28 to 18 for incels. But maybe this defeat is not a failure. Maybe it's a sign of hope or cope. Oh, and by the way, you probably also notice this growing hostility between men and women online, as if someone wants to turn us against each other, which is, you need to be aware of that. And I'm not talking about pointing out the ridiculous things that appear on either side, because some of those are indefensible, but this weird push that I hope you don't get aggro about it. But personally, I think something needs to be done, You cannot continue like this, we can live like this. So what is the answer? Well, I don't know, God, maybe some kind of a pushback against vanity, talking about how cringe it is. And by the way, I'm not talking about, boycotting attractive people and bringing ugly ones, because this is going back to that failed era. So I don't know what to do. Any guesses? Especially considering how nice things were just like a couple of years ago. It was nice. It was wholesome. So I don't know. If you like this content, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, what you like, what you don't like about this content, you may also write them in the comment section. Yes, I know I have an accent. This is a Polish accent, and this is why. Polish word for today is Konstantynopolitańczyk Wianeczka. It's a very simple word. You can do it. And also someone may ask wherever I'm planning to stop making animation on my main channel. The answer is no. I like doing them. They give me some kind of freedom, which unfortunately I don't have in my wage hack job. But I wanted to do something different because I realized I have fallen into routine. And unfortunately, routine kills your soul, you know. Brother. And unfortunately, routine kills your soul. And you need to add something. You need to change something once in a while. Because otherwise, well, you'll be a goner. Not goner, goner. Goner? Gone. You'll be gone. Not gunner. You can be gunner. Which is, you know, stress. And lastly, if you have any question, leave it in the pinned comment. I'll be recording some Q&A video someday. I don't know, maybe 100,000 subs on this channel. So yeah, see ya.